Good afternoon, I'm Jeff. I'm a Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 2004 Northeast 47th Avenue here in Portland. We're located in the basement. There's a big 6-inch cap. It's just basically a hiding place for the backflow valve here. It's 3-inch ABS. I'm going to insert the camera and check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. We currently have water running. Here we go. And it just transitioned there over to the original cast iron pipe. The main stack here looks like it's 4-inch pipe, so this may actually be 4-inch. It's hard to tell when you're going through a backflow. Okay, it transitions here from, looks like 4-inch cast iron pipe over to 6-inch terracotta clay. This joint here is showing a little separation at the top of the line. Down here in the flow line still looks fairly tight. It looks like we have a offset joint right here at about 45 feet. And I want to point something out here. It looks like the water is able to seep out through that joint. We do have water running currently, and none of it is making it over the top of that particular joint there. We don't have a really high volume of water moving through the line. It makes it easier to see this kind of thing. If I turn more water on, it's likely it will overwhelm that joint and probably continue over the top, but that is definitely allowing water to escape the line there because there's not a drop is making it past that joint. I'll try and pop my camera over the top of this thing if I can. It's a pretty large offset. Another offset joint here right after it. Looks like a little bit of standing water here has occurred. The pipe is settled. Getting debris collecting in the line here because the water flow is not making it all the way out. Another separated joint. That might be excess pipe grout coming up through the bottom there. That's kind of hard to determine. Looks like we got some junk on the line here. I'm going to try and I'll have to keep pushing here until I hit the main. Hopefully clean the camera off of the main lateral. Yeah, it looks like we just dropped into the main lateral here. I'm going to go do locates to verify we're out in the street. Okay, I did locate the camera head out in the middle of the street on 47th. I'm going to go ahead and start reeling back here. And most likely, most of these joints here that are showing, and a good portion of the joints are showing separation. Most of these are going to be allowing water to escape the line, even though we don't see the water making it to that point. They've all separated or many of them have separated to the point where they're going to allow water to escape the line. Now, this is kind of interesting here. It looks like at this point now this may just be a belly that's developed here because the joints are slowly allowing the water to seep out. This was the joint we originally saw the water escaping through. I'm not exactly sure how water ended up getting past that point and creating a bunch of standing water there up ahead, because that wasn't there when we originally scoped out. There was one small belly, but that larger one we just went past. I'll see if I can get back over this thing here again. I don't recall this being here when we first went through, so it's possible that water's seeping out through the line and coming back in through those joints. Obviously, we've got some standing water issues here, separated joints. I'm going to see if I can locate the street curb area of the line. As everything in this part of town past the street curb is the city's responsibility. Where's our tree? Yeah, I'm going to locate right here and see where the camera head is at. This is basically the first joint in the line where we're seeing separation. All the terracotta clay joints before this are still nice and tight. Okay, so right here is about smack dab in the middle of the sidewalk. We're about 2.5, 3 feet from the curb. And in this part of town, the curbs where the city takes responsibility, which is basically where this joint is at here. I'm going to try and locate this spot here one more. Try and get right at the curb. Okay, so right here it looks like we're just past the street curb. Unfortunately, there's a car parked out front there that's basically parked right over the top where the line goes out of the sidewalk area into the street, so I can't get right on top of the signal, but I'm picking it up right around where the curb is at, so this is either right where the curb is at or maybe about 6 inches or so past it, maybe a foot past it. Anyway, essentially from about this point on out would be the city's responsibility. I do recommend an update to the at least from about 45 feet here out. Actually, we've got I think we have another separated joint. I have this marked right here with a white X in the middle of the sidewalk. It's about 7 feet deep here. The most ideal way to do this would be to do a liner. Unfortunately, it looks like that once you're past this point here, we have standing water in the pipe, and doing a liner will not correct that, unfortunately. But most of this right here is the city's responsibility anyhow. So you'd have to contact the city to see if they would do any repair work or update to that. Now there's a few joints. This joint here is really close to being under the sidewalk area. This one here for sure is. So there's a couple pipe joints here that are likely homeowner responsibility. Pretty much everything past this point here roughly is the city's. And then all the joints prior to where the camera is sitting right now in the clay are actually nice and tight and look good still. But because water is escaping the line, we also have pooling there, where the debris is not able to effectively make it all the way out to the main like it's supposed to. It looks like the line is, I don't know how actively lived in this home is. There was some debris collecting out in the pipe there when we scoped out further. The stuff is not able to make it all the way out effectively. It looks like the line is still functioning, but definitely not functioning properly. I would recommend a sleeve or spot repair there. Actually, if those two joints are on property, you can sleeve those two spots very easily. Everything past that point you'd actually have to dig down to correct. So what would likely be the homeowner's responsibility could be done without having to dig. I'm going to go ahead and keep reeling back here. We're running under the basement floor at this point. Looks like we do have some pretty minor standing water under the floor here. I mean, it's probably only about a 1/16 of an inch of water, if that. There's no debris collecting in the pipe here. That's not worth the many thousands of dollars it would be to saw cut and tear all that up. Definitely not. So, my one recommendation though would be to correct the those two joints there that I mentioned were underneath the curb area, or I'm sorry, the sidewalk area. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pull the camera out. Once again, we have a joint, I know I've said this a few times, but there's a joint at 43 feet that's in the middle of the sidewalk that has a separation at the top of the pipe. The bottom and the flow line is still looking pretty tight, but we still have some separation there. Things are flowing past the joint at 43 feet just fine. The joint at 45 feet, though, that's the one where I stopped at. We could visibly see the water escaping the line and not flowing past that point. So I would just recommend correcting or doing a pipe sleeve and just lining that 3-foot pipe section there. You might as well. It's basically the same exact cost to line the one joint as it is to do the two of them. And then you could contact the city about the rest of the line that's out in the street to see if they'll do any correction there. But essentially all the pipe on property, except right when you hit the street curb area where the joint is allowing the water to escape, everything is flowing to 45 feet just fine. Once it hits 45 feet, that's where the water starts dissipating through the joints.